This is the Swarm Unplugged podcast, where we get to know the Beessocial community and encourage others to join us. With hundreds in the community, we want to get to know all of you better. From the newbie to the expert to the project partners, we will be learning who they are and how they can best benefit from Beessocial. I'm Christopher Knight, so let's get started. And a big welcome to everyone to this episode of the Swarm Unplugged. I'm glad to have you here today, and especially glad to have those folks who are following us and are commenting, and keep commenting. It helps us just grow bigger and bigger. As you know, we have this in order to get to know people in the community. It's too many of us, and there's too much going on. And if we don't slow down a little bit and get to know each other one-on-one, then we'll never get it done, because we're growing so fast in the entire structure of Beessocial. But today I want to introduce you to one of the community who has quite a history as far as what he's doing. And I think you'll be very interested in what you hear from our guest today, Phillip Ross. Phillip, welcome to the Swarm Unlimited podcast.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for being here. You know, I know we chatted a little bit before we went on, and I what I want to start out with is you really have done some interesting work in the area of the humanities, if you will, and helping structures being put together that help people. You want to go over that just briefly and tell people what you have done in that area?
Yeah, so we built this resource hub in Crescent City for the adjacent areas, Humboldt County, Trinity County, and Curry County. And we basically made it available for everyone to use on their mobile phone if they want, they don't even have to, talk to a person if they feel like they need to text someone if they're in a crisis mode. You got the resources for social services, Social Security, elderly, Medi-Cal, Medicare, like all those sorts of healthcare needed associations. And we just continued to apply other wraparound services, even for youth and veterans and all kinds of services. And we made sure we had a big number of people we served, especially the law enforcement around here, for Narcan distribution, so that way we can help save lives.
Well, that's since we're certainly going to continue to have that problem for a while as far as drug overdose and things like that. That program is extremely important. How is the Narcan distributed and taught as far as how it's used?
So, it's distributed. We made these kits, and these kits, it says opioid reversal on them. And I'm sure I have one somewhere in here, but it has a scare me tactic on it. And as every word, for scare me, runs you right through, the steps of what to do. Stimulate would be the first one. Call the cops would be the second one. So stimulate would be like, rub their chest, it shows, little images of what to do and whatnot. Call the cops, and then, every word though, it runs right through. And then on the back of the sheet, it has the two laws for applying and administering. And there's usually 2 doses in the kit. It also comes with a face shield, for if you have to give CPR and whatnot. That way you got the COVID safe thing going on there too at the same time, with gloves and, everything. So we distributed those. We had 500, I believe, was the distribution on it. Other than that, we built a resource hub. Other than the resource hub that I helped build, we also we built a job description for policy and procedures for the resource navigator position. So, and that's the role I played, beside co-facilitating for multiple other events that took place, that because we had to pivot from COVID to a virtual space. and a lot. So we tied unity with a lot of the other groups around here. Like the tribal groups and associations that were, helping fight the epidemic that was going on.
So were you working with a large team, or what kind of atmosphere was it you're working in?
We worked with a group of about 5-6 people, but like when we co-facilitated with other groups, it was a lot more. It could range anywhere from 20 to 100 people, depending on who was on the call. Because we did a 5-week wellness and recovery series. It's on. I don't like promoting, but like it's on Arts Safe Del Norte, and there's a list of just like different a library list that people can go and check out to understand, even from doctors' perspectives, what they're up against, what people are up against, and then they have Wellness Wednesdays, for wellness and care activities. So it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, that's as I said earlier, that's a lot of moving pieces there. So, and it sounds like it was wonderful work, and I know you're proud to have been a part of it. Do you have a family?
Yes, yeah, I have a number of good family around here. Yeah, I got my grandpa, my grandma that's still here, and I got uncles and cousins and whatnot that are here in Crescent City, and a large group of good friends. That's actually why I'm here.
Yeah, I got it. And you just mentioned where you live, which is Crescent City, California.
Yes, that's correct.
And what part of California is that in?
That would be in the northern part of California, right at the tip, right before you get across the Oregon border, 20, maybe 20 miles from the Oregon.
Okay, all right. It must be beautiful country up there. I know.
Oh yeah, the redwoods are nice.
Yeah, yeah. That's
20 minutes either direction, hit the river, or hit the beach or somewhere. So
oh boy, just you're making me jealous now. Stop it already. Good grief. I, I talked to one of our guests we've had on was Dan Harris, and he actually lives in the redwoods, and he really made me jealous when he was talking about it. All right.
oh yeah, it's a beautiful place. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be going there after here.
That's your next spot to put down some
Yes.
roots. You're gonna, or your roots are gonna be as deep as a redwood, aren't they? That's nothing to it.
Well, I go visit it on occasion. Helping out and whatnot. He's a
Well,
good friend.
you have obviously a fascinating background as far as what you've done. Is part of that humanitarian work? Did that draw you to the Beessocial community in any way?
Yeah, I've actually helped out like in the beginning. I don't want to say no names or anything, but like in the beginning when they were talking about like script writing and stuff like that, I was in college, so like I was pretty perked up about in my English class and whatnot. So it felt pretty exciting to be included in on some of the script writing for the Opus. Right before it got into the bee swarm and everything else, and then it
Right.
just blew up. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Oh,
It's amazing.
that's fantastic. So, how long? When did you start with Opus? I guess financial group or Opus.
I started probably a good over a year ago. I would help out, like anybody that needed help when it come to like electronical, help and whatnot. Their device wasn't working correctly or this or that, because I have a CIS networking degree, so it was I've worked on computers for a good most of my whole life, at least 20 plus years.
All right.
So it doesn't help. It helps to help others pretty quick.
And your computer experience is very valuable, and the knowledge is very valuable to the whole community because especially back in the early days, as I understand it, because I wasn't there in the early days, it was a little bit more difficult to operate than it is now. Is that true?
That is true, actually. Like when I was in kindergarten, I was kind of an experiment child. I got pushed into the Macintosh days when they first came
Yeah.
out, and and I learned on the word and number munchers. So yeah, I've been in the computers ever since.
What during the time you've been with the community and as it began and as it grew, what changes have you seen since you first touched base with it? What are the changes?
I've I've seen a group of people grow together and connect and create something beautiful. To be honest with you, that's beyond humanitarian. That is going to help the world, and I just it's just been growing and growing and more. And at first, I when I first heard about it, it was like, hey, you got to do this, like, and he's a good buddy of mine, so like his word, like I'm on it, so I downloaded the app and whatnot, and just got started, and then I'd be asked to do something else. So sure, like, then all of a sudden things just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was like, gosh, this is amazing, like, and then all of a sudden it hit so fast, like, like everything hit so fast. It launched, and then when we started launching, I was like, oh, whoa, this is really happening. Like, and I'm a part of it, and it felt incredible, And then the more that everybody just came together, and I felt kind of like we're all humanitarian, because like we're not just doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for everybody, and that means the world, like, just the United States. We're doing this for every country out there, and that's just that gives hopes to the people, and that's what I love.
Well, you obviously made some great contributions to the beginning structure, and I'm sure you're still making contributions to what's going on now. But how many people actually were there at the very beginning?
I couldn't give a big number, like maybe in the 2030s. I don't really know, like, because I wasn't part of all of it. I was only part of a portion where, like, I was included on some of it, and then in the very beginning, though, or if you're talking about, like, like when we first launched, there's a good 50, 40, 30 to 70 people that started, and then I went on some trips with a good friend, and we met others, and got them involved too, and all the way from like here, Crescent City, California, all the way, either down Humboldt area, all the way up to like Washington. We drove around and helped like kind of network, and talked about what was going on. So that was the beginning, and then it just started getting bigger and bigger, and then every time I'm asked for a favor, I'll drop what I'm doing and help as fast as I can.
Well, that's the effort it takes in order to keep the ball rolling. If you were to pick out one thing about now Beessocial, pick out one thing that's it really stirs you, or is your favorite thing that you like that's going on. What would that be?
What would that be? It's kind of hard because I like everything that they're doing, but me, truthfully, I like it when they start talking about the cybersecurity and keeping people safe, because like, yeah, I was taught, about what hacking is, but it was ethical, like it was in a safe environment. We were taught, that this is what you got to be aware of and whatnot. But when you get into blockchain, you don't know that people are going to create these fake web pages and stuff like that. So it started getting me excited, because when I actually got hacked, then I was like, man, I can implement this and help others with the knowledge that I know, with the computer understanding and everything that I've done. And I've been a part of knowing a lot ever since, like I got into blockchain because of Opus, the swarm and whatnot. Every time they get on it, it's just amazing that they're giving so much knowledge to the people. I love it all.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot of knowledge. I know that the folks that I've that brought in now, actually, they're of course, it's overwhelming when you start, and there's no doubt about it. You know, you come in and you hear terms you've never heard in your life. You just know that crypto's coming and it's going to stay here. Now, what do I do? And so, if you were to actually, and what do you do? Because I know you do as well. You've said you've already brought on people. How do you explain this to the new people that you talk to or casually meet or meet on purpose for that purpose? How do you start out the conversation?
So I'll start out the conversation like, so, are you part of, crypto, or do you know anything about it? And then, if they do, then the story carries on with talking about, the app, and, going on further, and then what it's more about, it's about helping out everybody. And because everybody usually, like at first, and there were the people that were like, oh, my face, I don't want it anywhere, this or that, and the scare thing. But like your face is everywhere. That's the problem, like that people don't understand is that, like every camera down the street's gonna catch your face. So that's not really gonna matter, like we're just trying to help people out. We're not trying to like, shun away. So I don't try to sell it really, because if they are not, if they start backing out too much like that, and it starts becoming too frustrating for them, I don't try to make it like that kind of environment. I try to make it a safe environment. And if it's not a sales pitch, and if they don't catch on that fast, well then like I'll back out and be like, okay, well then another time, because maybe there'll be a time later on they'll be coming to me, which has already happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had like, friends of friends, and or my brother's friend, he's like, he started getting really amped out here about 3 weeks ago. Even, drove all the way down to see me and talk to me about, like what we were doing. And then he was excited. He's like, man, I got 5 people in. I'm like, oh, cool, right on. He goes, how do I do this? So, I run him through, and he goes, man, like, I need to visit again, or you visit me. I go, anytime, I'll come visit, and explain to whoever you want. Like, if you really want to get on the pool side, like that's your choice though. I'm not gonna force you into any of that stuff. But, like and a few people have gone in that way, and it's been pretty cool that, you don't really have to sell it. You just have to, I mean, talk about how good this is really about,
Well, yeah.
it's about helping humanitarian, like everybody, not just like one person, getting rich quick. That's not how it really is.
How many times have you heard, is this an MLM type program?
MLM, abbreviate that one time, please.
Yes.
MLM.
How many times have you been asked, is this an MLM type program?
What do you define MLM?
Multi-level marketing. It's
So many times. Gosh, matter of fact, last night I, like I got on a group in Telegram, and was asking for the admin, and people, started getting rude, and this guy got really rude, kind of. I pulled him aside on a direct message, and started explaining, and like he apologized, and he didn't have much to say, like after I showed him facts, and
mm-hmm.
Because it's you can't lie from the facts, like them trying to push what they're doing. And anyways, and they're like, how do you think that this can mix with, like helping out us? I go, easily. I go, what I mean? Like if you guys came in together with us, like everything would expand, and this would help your project even expand.
Mm-hmm.
So that really ain't much of a sales pitch there. I go, here's some links. I go, you think it over yourself, and then if it's good enough for you, he goes, why didn't you just like say this in the group? I go, because people are being rude. Like I don't want to. I'm not trying to sell this at all. And then like he said thank you and whatnot, and I go, well, just look over the information if so, because I think I was talking to the admin or somebody that was well knowledgeable,
Right.
and that's why I pulled them aside. It went good after that. I was different.
Yeah, you turned it around just a nick of time for sure. Well, certainly that question is legitimate because so many people have been burned by that type of marketing. And when you talk about putting a group together, and you talk about, hey, come, I'm going to show you if you want to join, whatever. That's the same language as a multi-level marketing company uses, except we're not asking them to spend a dime that they don't want to spend, and their money's still their money when they put it in. So
yeah, because like I said, they're like, explain. I said, it's as easy as pushing a button. I'm like, and they're all, this is just delete this guy, he's a shelling or something like that. I was like, what? I didn't even know what the term meant myself, and it was basically what you just said, it's MLN. It's, somebody just trying to market their product, and once like I said, though, once I pull them aside, they're different story, way different story.
Well, I know that people get that. That's the reason I wanted to ask you, because I know you've talked to a lot of people about the program, and everybody's going to get it. I don't care who you're talking to, you're going to get it a lot, and you just have to explain it the way it's explained to us to start with. That's excellent. Before we close this episode out today, Philip, would you like to say anything as we close out here? In general, or as I always say on this program, from the heart to the folks that are listening?
Yeah, I like to say that, we aren't doing this for just us, like we all stuck in this together, united to do this for the world, and like this project is beyond words. There are words for it that I can't say right now, but it's amazing, and I truly think that this will bring shed light on so much of the devastation of what COVID has done to our nation, and this will help unite the people. I really believe that. Like this will be bigger than what people even believe that it could be, and it has been ever since the beginning. Everything time something's gone wrong, it's gone right actually, and you can't really put anything like that down, especially when it's free.
Especially when it's free. Exactly right. Philip, thank you so much for being on this episode of the Swarm Unplugged. I truly appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. Folks, with that being said, this is an example of the kind of people that you will get to know and be able to learn from in this community. Philip's been around since even before the beginning, and has seen what's going on, and he knows for a fact what it's all about. It's nothing. It's transparent. There's no secret. So when you get the information like that from someone like Philip, which you can turn to if you need to, and that's true of a lot of people in the community. If you need help, just ask for it. You'll find somebody that's willing to help you out. So I appreciate all of you joining us for this episode of the Swarm Unplugged. I'm Christopher Knight, and always remember to listen, learn, and give. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Swarm Unplugged podcast. Be sure to hit the follow button and leave us a glowing comment. Gravitate yourself to be on the podcast so you are the next one to introduce themselves to the Beessocial community. See you on the next episode.